Hi, welcome to Bright Hope Creations. I'm Kara, and today we've got just the ticket, a golden ticket, with a fun find behind. And so we are using Wheelie Great Day, Bicycle Built for You, just the hat, Tiny Friends, S'more the Merrier, just the chocolate, Coaster Critters Flip Flop, and then the Pull and Pop Pull Tab. I'm using some Bristol Smooth cardstock with that. Raffle tickets in metallic gold cardstock, small stitched rectangle stackables, and the slimline stitched hillside borders. I've cut two of the largest of the small stitched rectangle stackables out of Bristol cardstock, and I am using Wilted Violet Oxide ink. I'll be blending that with Salty Ocean and Mermaid Lagoon oxide inks as well. But I am doing two panels because one is going to be the base panel and the other one is going to hide the pull and pop pull tab mechanism. Right now, the base panel is on the left, but it is upside down because the way I am blending, I work better by going from top to bottom. And so for a couple of reasons. I think one, because I get less ink on my hands and I can blend easier going from top to bottom. But that will be flipped over. So the top that you see will actually be the bottom of the card. Now I'm coming in with that peacock feathers. Peacock feathers? I just told you it was going to be Mermaid Lagoon. Well, no, it is peacock feathers. I'm really enjoying this combination. I wanted something bright and fun. This is kind of a nod to, no, it is a nod to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so we're going to use golden tickets. And I thought that this combination would be a good contrast to those golden tickets. So if we call the gold orange, then on the opposite side of the color wheel, we've got our purple, blue, and green. So kind of that orange to blue are our contrast colors. At first, I thought I was going to do horizontal stripes going across, but then when I put my tickets up against it, I thought, well, I don't really think that that's going to show off those tickets very well. Everything's going to be going straight across. So decided to mix it up, and I'm actually much happier with this kind of swirly look of the colors, dispersing them all over. It kind of gives it more of that, I don't know, like that imagination type look that I was hoping for to kind of show off that Willie Wonka type. I don't know. It's just kind of a feel that I think it gives when it's all swirled around together. If you notice that paper that I'm using to keep my fingerprints off of the panel, that is the same combination, adding some green to it, but that is using the regular distress inks, not the oxide inks. So you can see how much more vibrant these oxide inks look. Now while that is drying, I'm moving on to stamping, and I've got the ticket and the chocolate, and I'm going to start just with the hat. I'm going to do some masking because I want Willie Wonka to be in a little booth, but his head or his hat is going to be coming forward out of the booth. So his hat needs to come first, because front first, and then I'll stamp that. I'm going to use some jet black ink because I'm using Copic markers, and that is Copic friendly. And then mask that hat using a full stick Post-it note. And now I'm going to decide who I'm going to use out of the Tiny Friends for Willie Wonka. And I've got this guy here, but I'm not going to stamp him right down because he's going to be in the booth, so I need to stamp the booth first, but I want to position it right. So I'm leaving him there, and then I will pick up that booth on the door and move Willie Wonka away and stamp the booth. With the ink that's left on my stamp, I'm again going to create a mask with that full stick Post-it note and cut that out. Now the easy way to cut out the inside is just to go right across one of the lines to get to the center. Just add it to the stand and then figure out where to position Mr. Wonka. I want to make sure that his hat and hairline kind of work together there. And then we can ink him up and stamp that down. Well, he's looking a little bit more like Grandpa Joe, but we're going to make him work. With that hat on his head, he already looks more like Willie Wonka. All right, onto those golden tickets. I am prepping that gold metallic cardstock with some anti-static powder because I'm using clear ink and I'm going to heat emboss with black embossing powder. I'm keeping my stamp in the same position and just moving my cardstock around to get that ticket stamped out. I'm stamping it 5 times. In the book, there were 5 golden tickets, so that's why I decided on 5. I actually end up with 6, you'll see. But I should not have risked this part. I had to save some steps by adding the words for the tickets on a couple of them, but I did not have my magnet on the paper well enough, so it moved my paper, but in the end, it wasn't a big deal. I made a couple extra tickets. I'm sprinkling on Lawn Fawn's black embossing powder, and I will melt that with my heat tool and then add those extra words onto my tickets. And I just chose to use the Admit One and Ticket. But there are a lot of great sentiments that fit into the Really Great Day ticket in that stamp set. Okay, I cut those out with the coordinating die, and now onto our coloring. And Willy Wonka is getting a purple jacket and a little hat band. I'm kind of following the Gene Wilder version of Willy Wonka here. It's the one I grew up with. I'm using V05 and V09 for kind of a bright pinky purple. And then the stand is going to match the colors in the background. And so I'm using blue violets. I decided the BV11 was a little too dull, so I went back into the zeros. Those are a little brighter. Starting with the BV02 and then shading with the BV04 and blending that back in, then with that 02. So that's for the base and the sides, but I also will use the BG13 and 10 in the awning and the counter. I'm using that gold again to contrast those colors, and I'm using a Y23 and 26 and then a YR24. For skin color, he's going to have E00 shaded with an E21. And then for hair, I was looking for an orange brown hair. And so that's those E-teens are kind of an orangey brown. So I used E13 and 15. I colored the chocolate and ticket and decided that Y28 is a nice gold. So I added that to the hat as well and then cut everything out with the coordinating dies. Well, not everything, because the ticket stand has a nice inside cut detail, but for my purposes, I needed to just cut that out around the outside, so I didn't cut my Willy Wonka out of the middle. Well, the base is ready and Mr. Wonka's ready, and so are the tickets. So it's time to put this all together. I'm deciding where I want to cut the slits for the pull and pop pull tab. So with the arrow facing down, I ran the slit die through my die cut machine. Then I realized I hadn't ink blended my pull tab pieces, so I went ahead and did that. Then I used the trick that I saw Kelly use on the intro video, and that is to use the ruler, butt that up to the score line on that very thin area, and it makes it much easier to bend that forward. Now, Bristol cardstock is thicker, so it needed a little bit of help, and I wanted to make sure to reinforce that with my bone folder. I folded the second score line in the opposite direction, and I'm flipping the panel and the pull tab over so we see the back side, and I can thread the bottom part of the pull tab through the bottom slit and the top part through the top slit. You can see I made sure those 2 little notches also came through the top. I also ink blended the stabilizer, and I'm folding it in a Z fold. Put some adhesive on the square on one end and adhere it to the panel a tiny bit above the pull tab. You want to see the square facing towards you. Now I can put some adhesive on the other square, and making sure my pull tab is flush with the top of the slot, I adhere the stabilizer to the top of the pull tab. Now the ticket stand needs to sit on something in order to hide that length of the pull tab. I thought the slimline stitch hillside border would work well because it's just going to give us this curvy abstract look that matches the feel of the background. I'm seeing where I want that border to end up on the panel, and then I'll pull that panel away, and that's how I'll know where to cut the top panel. The good thing is it doesn't have to be too precise because those golden tickets are going to really hide everything. Before I add that top panel, I want to stamp the sentiment, and I'm going to heat emboss this again. So prepping that with the anti-static powder and then putting clear ink on my stamp, stamping that down, adding the black embossing powder, and I'll melt that. And then the sentiment is ready. I can add my raffle tickets to the top and the bottom of the card. I love these Lawn Fawn raffle tickets. I think I think they could be used for raffle tickets, like at a birthday party. I don't know. I think they could be a lot of fun for a lot of different occasions. All right, I'm adding our chocolatier to the main panel and his little ticket, his golden ticket, and his chocolate bar. Hard to see because I have the mechanism right in front, but you will see him as soon as I pull that down. Now to add the group of golden tickets, I am starting with a base, a small rectangle of sugar plum cardstock to put them all on. And once I have them adhered the way I want them, I can just cut around so that you don't see any of that rectangle left. So as a kid, did you ever unwrap your candy bar looking for that golden ticket? I always did. I don't know. I mean, it's part of the magic of growing up, right? All right, I'm adding adhesive to the top of that pull tab mechanism, and I can place those tickets on top, pull them away, and now you can see Willie Wonka. Now to add the top panel, I only want to put adhesive on the sides and just coming a little bit out from the sides because that will give that pull tab room to move inside that top panel. Now, of course, I'm going to rip this off because I forgot to put on my decorative pull tab topper. In order to do that, I need to know what length I want that, and so I'm going to adhere this to my note card. And I only want to adhere at the top and bottom and coming up a little on the sides. That gives that pull tab room to move. It buckles a little bit. Now with the pull tab pushed all the way in, I can cut it flush with the bottom of the card, and then measuring that decorative piece from the bottom of my card up to about halfway between those two slits that were cut into the panel, I can cut off the excess and adhere it to the main pull tab. I'll line it up and feed it through the bottom slit and then make sure that it is flush with that pull tab. And now I can add that top panel back on, and I was deciding, do I want that ticket stand to be on the top panel or behind? It really doesn't matter, but I think I ended up with it behind. Now here's where I'm giving myself a little artistic license because with this mechanism all the way closed, you can see a little bit of the stabilizer. So here's where the 6th ticket comes in, and I'm just gonna say that that ticket is for you or me, so we can go to the chocolate factory as well. Here's one last design change. I decided I wanted a black border instead of a white one, so I added a black panel, and I'm re-adhering my main panel onto that. I put a white piece of paper behind it so you could see that a little easier. And now let's see this pull and pop pull tab in action. There are our shiny tickets and Mr. Willie Wonka himself. Well, here we are with a little bit of a close-up so you can see it a bit better. A card to say, "You're just the ticket for me." Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and it inspired you to make a pull and pop pull tab card for yourself. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.